What up, everybody? It's your boy PTK Bland back with another episode of the Shop Podcast. As we always say every week, we appreciate everybody coming out, watching us live, taking their time on Saturdays to come out, hang out with us, talk about some gaming news. I have a special guest this week. I got a couple guys going to show up a little bit late. Shout out to Livewire Gaming. They will be joining us routinely as they show up. But I do have some great guys with me, my right-hand man, left-hand man, and I got a good friend of mine. And as I always do, I'm going to go ahead and go around the panel, let everybody kind of, give their own shout-outs and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start with our guest of honor, a good friend of mine, younger gamer, but still knowledgeable, great guy. Go ahead and give yourself a shout-out, Mark.
Hey, I'm Mark, and I've been friends with Darnay for a long time, and I want to give out a shout-out to him for letting me be on the podcast.
Oh, no problem, Mark. I appreciate that. Find him on Twitter. He has, Twitter.
MarcB567.
There you go. All right, fantastic. And go ahead, GKB.
What's up, everybody? It's GKB. Gamers knows best. Been waiting for this podcast, hang out with my bros, and talk some gaming.
For sure. And I got my other right-hand man here, Matt Asthmatic. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Glad to be back on another Shop Podcast.
All right, fantastic. Glad to hear from you guys. Glad everybody is healthy. So let's go ahead and start. What we usually do is, what is everybody playing this week? I'd like to start the podcast that way, just to see what everybody's kind of getting into, what they've been rocking out with. So it's going to go right across the panel. So what you been playing this week, GKB?
Oh, man, I know this is going to be a shock to everybody, but I've been playing The Division, this new game that just came out.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
No, I've also been playing Gigantic. Got the beta code for that. That's a pretty fun game, man. I really love the art style in it. I thought it was going to be more MOBA like League of Legends, but it's really more of man, it's hard to explain, really.
Yeah.
But just like a crazy multiplayer game. It's not really that MOBA style, but I really enjoy it. Also played PvZ2 Garden Warfare. And that's fantastic, man. They really knocked it out of the park with this one, man. I'm really enjoying it.
Everybody's been saying that. We talked about that. Shout out to Mooch too. I was on the Crossfire podcast. Everybody last night. If you haven't
Mooch,
check it out. Yeah. We talked about the PvC Garden Warfare 2. Also, everybody pretty much we've all played it a little bit, and we all think it's fantastic. So I'm really psyched for that game. So go ahead, Matt. What you been playing this week?
I also, any subscribers to Captain Zasma's channel will know that I was playing some Division Beta with him. That was a ton of fun, going and destroying some rogue people in killing some rogue agents in the Dark Zone was a lot of fun. I did also bust out the Rock Band 4 again this week.
Hell.
I played Rock Band through youth group and stuff growing up a lot, but 4 is the first one I've actually owned, so I'm starting to learn to actually be good at the drums now, and it's a whole ton of fun. But I hadn't played in a long time, so I busted that back out, logged a couple more songs. I got my career mode a little bit further along.
You living out those rock star dreams, huh, man?
Yeah. Pretty much anytime I'm home alone, I'm like, all right, crank up the volume, let's go.
All you need is leather pants and a mullet. You're perfect.
I definitely already have both of those things.
Oh, man. Moving on.
All right. So let's go ahead and get to our guest of honor. Mark, what you been playing this week, Mark?
Oh, I've mostly been just trying to finish Assassin's Creed Syndicate, just slicing up the Templars. Cool. And a lot of Rocket League. That game's so much fun. Been playing with my friend Caleb a lot. Oh, the game's just... I love customizing my car. Oh, it's so good.
Nice. All right, so Rocket League hype is here on the Xbox One, 2 people. Don't run away. It's okay.
Rocket League.
Don't run away. It's okay, everybody. So, all right, nice. Glad to see people coming to rock out with us today. We're gonna go ahead and dive right into these questions. So the first topic I want to get into is something that actually my good friend Mark, brought to my attention. I haven't been on Twitter much today. I've been kind of busy. I got like 12 kids in my house, so I'm kind of busy today. Yeah, that busy. So
Daddy Darnay.
Pretty much. And he told me about there was a leak apparently. Now I don't know. I can't necessarily confirm. Maybe he'll get into more information that he has, but I've only kind of dabbled in it. There was a possible Bioshock collection coming out, which I think would be fantastic. I know Bioshock is a beloved game. Every single Bioshock game has always been critically acclaimed. It's always sold well. It's always played well. The games don't usually come out broken, so they usually do a really good job with Bioshock. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the panel, get everybody's opinion on what would you think. Would you be accepting of a Bioshock collection. You know how the whole remaster collection stuff has been going around this generation. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with our guest of honor, Mark. So maybe give us a little bit more information on what you heard and what you like about Bioshock collection.
Yeah, I really want one because the only Bioshock I've ever played is Infinite from the games with gold, and I didn't even get to finish it. I wanted to finish it, but it never hasn't come to BC yet like they said it would. The interesting thing about this collection, though, is it says it's going to be on 360 and PS3 also. Like, they're going to group them all together, I guess, maybe, which makes me think, I doubt it's like a full, remaster. I'm guessing it's probably just a 1080p up-res with maybe some better textures. Probably just the PC version ported over to the new gen, I'd say.
Yeah. What do you think about it? I mean, would you pick it up, though?
Yeah, I'd buy it for sure because it has all three, and I haven't got to play them, and I hear great things, so I'd definitely buy it.
Was there a price that you saw, possibly, or no, they haven't said anything yet?
I don't see a price on here from the articles that I saw about it, but I'm guessing
so if
probably.
You had to guess about it, yeah, go ahead.
Probably $40, I'd say. They might charge 60. You're probably right, Darnay. It's probably going to be 60. I'd wish it would be like 40 or 30, but knowing companies nowadays, I'm sure it'll be probably 60.
All right, cool. All right, so GKB, what do you think about that information? I don't know if you've seen it or read it, but what do you think about that?
Man, honestly, I'm kind of over the whole remastered thing. And if it is true, like, it's a rumor, so we don't know for sure. It hasn't been confirmed yet. But if it is true and it's going to be on last-gen consoles as well, I don't expect too much from it. Just an up-res. Even at that point, man, how much can they really do to it to still run it on those old consoles? So if I'm gonna pick it up, probably not. I'd much rather have the back compat versions just play on my Xbox One. I haven't played through Infinite, so but I have that, so I can play through that. I won't pick it up, man. To be honest with you.
Okay. All right, no problem. Any idea on pricing? Possibly, you think if they're gonna do something and bundle them all together, how much you think it should be?
If they do it and it's just a refresh, honestly, any more than $40, man, I think is
I agree.
Too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds about right. Yeah, $40 for nothing, because like you said, if it's gonna be on PS3 and 360, there's a good chance that we're not gonna get the full workover. We're not gonna get like a Gears Ultimate type.
That's what I would. If they're gonna do it, why don't you do a Gears Ultimate, like remake the whole thing?
Yeah. Because Bioshock was popular enough to get.
I love Bioshock too.
Most people. I've never seen a person say I hate Bioshock. I've seen people like, oh well, that's not really my kind of game. But I've never heard anybody say, oh, that game is terrible, I hate it. So that's one of the few franchises that usually when it comes out, it gets critical praise, and also it does well as far as like selling, to popular or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So go ahead, Matt. What's your opinion on that Bioshock information, man?
Well, it brings up a couple questions for me because, like with Master Chief Collection and like Gears Ultimate, they're not just hey, here's all the games that you played on your 360 now on one disc for your Xbox One. It's like Master Chief Collection, we had remastered Halo 2 and a similar story going on with Gears Ultimate, and then you have your achievement side of things where things are all brought together and it has a more unified experience. But now that brings me to the question with Bioshock of like who's going to develop that content, because their original developer is no longer around.
And Levine has his own studio now, doesn't he?
I don't know that information.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Well, no, but just like that brings up that question for me of what new content would we get from this? Because if it is just the games all put together, that would be great. I do definitely agree that $40 is the most you would be able to charge for that at that point of having no new content. But I think it'd be good. But then at the same time, from a developer side, I wouldn't put too much work into it, because if these are going to come to back compat and you're not giving me a remastered version, then why would I buy something that I likely already own?
Well, that's the thing, is they can't really do too much more to it because they're going to put it out on... So trying to add features for like the Xbox One or PS4, it's not going to work on the 360 and PS3, let's be honest, right?
Yeah. I thought the game looked pretty beautiful on the 360, Bioshock Infinite, at least the one I played. It looked very colorful, and I thought it looked great, not even being on the next gen console.
Yeah.
And a note to all of you guys, like guys here in this podcast who haven't finished those games, go finish those games. Like Infinite, I definitely recommend playing them in order. Bioshock 1 is one of the greatest plot twists of like any narrative I've ever experienced, and Infinite is like an amazing point in the series as well.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I mean, I played through 1. I know about the plot twist. 2 didn't really get all the way through that one. So, I mean, I do have some catching up to do definitely. But in my personal opinion, I don't really. I'm with GKB on this one. I'm not really big on the remasters, the collections, different things like that. We're gonna do people a fan service. Do it the right way. Do it all the way.
Exactly.
Go big or go home. That's kind of my, because it almost was like a cash grab if they do decide to do it. And if it ends up on backwards compatibility anyway, that may be a little conflicting. You may purchase it whenever it comes out, then it finally hits BC, and you're like, well, what the hell was that? Like,
Right.
I just
Wasted
bought it for
money.
$40. I just wasted money. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing? So I don't know. It's good topic, guys. Good topic. But it seems like most people would, probably be accepting of that. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next topic that we have here. And this is something that I haven't really, I've done a lot of podcasts. I've talked to a lot of people on Twitter. I haven't really seen too many people talk about this. And I kind of want to let Matt, ask Matt to go ahead and he brought this to my attention. There was an article, Todd Howard, sorry, is it Todd Howard? I believe it's Todd Howard, the guy that runs Bethesda Studios. He did an article and talking about release dates versus like announced dates and building up hype and releasing things too early or announcing things too early but releasing it like a year or two later. So we want to go ahead and get into that. Matt, you may have more information. I'm going to let you start on that.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I mean, just sort of like looking at it because that was a big deal with Fallout 4 is that they kept it really secret. They didn't really have leaks or anything like that, and then they came to E3 in June, and they're like, hey, here's this game, and it's going to come out in 5 months. That same November, Fallout 4 was out, and that was one of the shortest windows, like, for a AAA title, and especially from a development side for a game of that magnitude, of everything that it took to put into that. And then for them to go from announced to release just in 5 months was a big deal. And Todd just said in the interview that his vision is for that to become the norm in the gaming industry. This was IGN interviewing him at DICE in Las Vegas. And so he was just saying he's kind of hoping that becomes the norm, and it comes down to the sort of hype side of things where we have, you want to announce a game so you can start driving pre-orders and you can get people excited about the game, hopefully get a little gamer feedback and help, make the game a little bit better from people's feedback before it actually gets a chance to come out. But then we also have the problem of games usually get pushed back and it ends up taking forever to get a game. So I think it's a really interesting point for him to say that he thinks it should be the norm. I mean, I would agree with him, but there's so many different crews of developers who do things their own way that, obviously it would never be a rule or anything like that, but I think that a lot of development studios could benefit from learning from this and from observing that style a little bit.
Yeah. I want to bring up what Darnay said earlier, because Darnay, I think, said that it actually hurts some games, because he was talking about No Man's Sky. I mean, that was announced forever ago, and now I really don't see anyone talking about No Man's Sky. They've showed it so many times, and, we haven't, hasn't come out.
Yeah.
I think we have a month.
There's definitely a window, and that's the biggest thing, and I agree with Todd Howard on this one, that it's a balancing act, because from a developer standpoint, there's numbers you have to take into account, money, development costs, timelines. You got to work in conjunction with, if somebody's publishing the game, then whatever platform you're putting it on. All of that has to work in conjunction. But with the fact that a game like Fallout 4, as huge as that is, can announce 5 months from the actual release date. I don't know if every studio has that capability. They're in a very unique situation. Yeah. They can literally put out a game whenever they feel like it. Nobody cares if the next Fallout doesn't come for another 6 years. We're fine with that, or 5 years. We're fine with it. They can do that. They can take the time, because when the game comes out, it makes like $1 trillion. So they can take the time to do that. So I definitely agree with him, and I hope this does become the norm. Because so many times there are games like he just mentioned one, No Man's Sky is one, where I really think that game is lost. It was so hyped, and everybody was like, "Oh my goodness, we want to get this game." Well, not too many Xbox people, but a lot of PlayStation guys, PC guys were really hyped about the game, and I think it's kind of pretty much died off. I think it'll be big once it actually drops, but the hype for the game has definitely died off. There's a few other games too that have missed their windows, got pushed back. That I think that that have suffered from it. So let's get your opinion on that, GKB. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, what he's saying is, fantastic, but in this day and age with social media and stuff, I mean, he even said in his article, like, it was super hard to keep this stuff under wraps, and
Yeah.
just about every developer is going to run into that. I mean, they're running with, like, hundreds of people now building games, so trying to keep that under wrap with that many people, I don't see it happening. The other point of that is, too, like, a lot of us see a lot of this stuff, but I don't think the average person notices a lot of this stuff until they start seeing like the TV ads and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty close to release. So there's that too. Like we're in, I don't want to say industry, but
Yeah, well, we're speaking from a different perspective.
Right.
We're in the know.
Yeah, we're in the know.
Yeah, we're in the know.
In the know.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of that stuff. So I mean, I think it's cool because we've said before, man, like we don't want to see, games at E3 or whatever, and it's 2 years later before we actually get it. I mean, because you get that hype built up, and then we don't even care about that point,
Yeah, it's definitely more of a like, what have you done for me lately group
Right.
nowadays, this generation. It's more of like, now, what have you done now? What have you done within the last 6 months? It's not, the game, yeah, you announced it 6 months, but when is it coming? You announced it at E3 a year ago. When is it coming? I think there are some ways to like combat that. By doing betas, things like that help extend it. Like make it feel like there's
Right.
not so much time in between the announce date and the release. When you do things like betas, you do things like playthroughs, and you interact with your fan base and things like that. So there's some creative ways that developers can come up with ways to kind of keep the game in people's face at the same time give them enough time to actually create the game that they want.
There's also like other games too that kind of don't fit that mold of, like with Remedy's game, Quantum Break. They showed that like in 2013.
Yes,
coming out.
yes.
And that game's got so much hype on it right now, and it's been we've known about it for years. So
Yeah, but like I said, Remedy's not in a typical situation either. They make whatever game they want, and it takes however long they, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's another situation like Bethesda where they can make they've earned the right to do that, with their particular with the IPs.
That's true, totally.
So,
With Quantum Break, didn't they also change the main character to
Yes.
Sean
Yeah, Sean
Ashmore?
Ashmore.
Also, I mean, they needed a delay because they changed some things.
yeah,
And that's the other issue you have with that, with announcing early, is that when you're only 50% of the way through your development cycle, now you've got you haven't solved at least half the problems that you're going to encounter in your development process, and now it's like, oh, well, this, or oh, I lost my actor, or whatever is going on, or I'm having now problems, implementing multiplayer, implementing UI later down the road that pushes back release, and it just extends that time on what you planned for, because there could have been, major problems with Fallout 4 that we never heard about because we didn't know that's what they were working on at the time.
That's true.
True. Definitely. And I just want to reiterate the point, everybody. Anybody who has any questions, please make sure the live chat is up. Please make sure you throw all your questions in the live chat. We'll answer them towards the end of the show. We don't want to forget about that. So anybody with questions, please throw them in there. All right, great. Ty, anybody have anything else before I move on to talk about, or anything else to say about that particular subject?
I mean, I guess a little point we can drop in is they do mention at the end of that article that Todd Howard did also reveal that Bethesda has 3 big projects in the works. Obviously
Holy
not
shit.
saying what they were.
Holy.
So I mean, we can all guess at Elder Scrolls 6.
Elder Scrolls, Skyrim.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls got to be there.
Yeah.
Another Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. Another Skyrim. Okay.
Could
Cool.
be at least something else in the universe.
Yeah. Definitely.
I wanted to bring up, I noticed this, like, with things being announced too early, I've seen that's been an issue with even, like, smaller games, like the ID at Xbox games. Like, I've been really hyped for the, Inside, from the makers of Limbo, a long time. Like, they announced it a long time ago. I mean, it's still not out. And another example's, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. No, you go ahead.
DayZ got announced, I remember, for PS4, like, Gamescom, like 2 years ago. I remember Dean was on the stage announcing it. Now, once they announced it, and nothing was ever seen from that again. Like,
That's
it
true.
just disappeared.
Yeah, that's true. And I want to bring something up. Somebody just brought something up great in the chat. And it kind of made something click, like connect the dots. Shout out to the Basement Radio Arcade podcast and in the chat there. He brought up Elder Scrolls announced and backwards compatible with Skyrim. With Microsoft having the marketing rights for Fallout, they seem to have a really, really good relationship with Bethesda. A really good relationship. I really feel like, I don't know, like something between them. We may end up getting like it'll never be like a full exclusive, but we may get, like for the next big game that they have, whatever those three are. It could be another Elder Scrolls title, it could be Skyrim, another Skyrim. I really feel like they're gonna do something cool, for the Xbox fans, like they did with Fallout with the mods, getting them first and different things like that. So I just want to throw that out there too. That both Xbox and Microsoft. Go ahead.
With the three possible big projects, one of those could be a new IP that maybe they're doing for Xbox. You never know.
Yeah,
that could be a possibility.
That's true.
You think, have they announced Dishonored 2? Could that be one of them? Have they announced that already? Dishonored 2? Was that a third? They did. Okay.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot. I knew there was the remaster, but I forgot if they announced the second one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, everybody. Great topic. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one that I have here. And the next topic I want to talk about is Street Fighter V. Now, this is a PlayStation PC game. It's been talked about in the media last week, week before, and this week also too. The online issues have been fixed, so I'm not gonna sit up here and dog out the game for the online issues. Those have been resolved. PlayStation, all of it. They fixed their the mess that was the online the first day. But what I'm still hearing is the lack of content, the lack of game modes, the lack of, I think it has 16 characters to start with. You get 16, but there's a lack of modes, a lack of a bunch of different things. I don't remember right off the top of my head, but I kind of want to talk about that. And that really goes into another topic. So I'm going to just pair these two topics together. Games, this generation, a lot of games come out that are lacking content. That come out, they're halfway done. They're not ready. You have a situation where like a Final Fantasy or a Hitman, they're doing an episodic, when no game in either one of those history have ever been episodic. So they're charging us for like a portion of the game, and they're going to give it to us as time goes by. Or a situation like Destiny, where the game comes out and there's a lack of content. You know what I'm saying? So, or a situation just like Street Fighter V. So I want to go around the panel and get you guys' opinion on why that keeps happening. You see this being a kind of a normal thing and continuing with these games, with these developers doing these types of things. So I'll go ahead and start with my special guest, Mark. What do you think about that?
Okay, well, I really like episodic games, actually, because I'm a big fan of the Telltale series, but I don't think they have any place in like games like Hitman or Final Fantasy, because I just don't feel like those games should be episodic. I think that one thing I don't like about episodic games is sometimes they take months to release a new episode, and I'll play the first episode and then forget what happened. So when when the second episode comes around, it's been months later. I'm like, well, what did I even do in the first episode? Like, I don't even remember by now.
I mean, that brings up a good point, though. Like, with Hitman coming out saying, we don't know how long the first episode's going to be. It could be a couple hours, who knows. But say the next one doesn't come out for a couple months after that. Are you really going to be interested in playing Hitman with other games coming out alongside of that?
No.
Going back to it?
Yeah, that's another issue, too. Great point, great point. Looks like Predator showed up, everybody. Predator.
Hey.
He just got in here. So everybody give a shout out to Predator, man. Glad to see you, brother. Glad to have you.
Yeah, sorry, man. I was out eating and stuff like that, and I didn't know.
You gotta eat, brother.
You're like, oh, you want to do a podcast? I'm like, oh, I'm already out.
No problem, man. Glad to have you here, man. Glad to have you this
What I miss?
Oh, no, just a few. We're on the topic right now. We're talking about games coming out that are half done, lack of content, Destiny, Street Fighter.
I want to bring up one more point.
Oh, go ahead.
I was watching a video from, I don't know if you guys know, do you guys know Review Tech USA on YouTube? He was talking about how Capcom, with the content missing, they're kind of hurting their older fans, who, because he said he's kind of more of a casual player, and he really likes the arcade mode and stuff like that, which is missing. And he says the game's kind of more appealing to people who do tournaments or are very competitive online, because that's what they've seen their focus is.
That's the whole reason why they pushed it to get it out. It was for Evo and to get the pros. They get it into the pros' hands so they can, and he's right. I mean, you're pretty much throwing out all, the casual people that, pay the same amount of money as the pros to get the game. So, yeah, I don't think it's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. What you think about that, Predator?
I kind of caught like with the very tail end of what the topic was about, but I think you guys are discussing like
Lack
the
of
lack of
content.
content for games. Yeah. Um, I, I really hate to think that this is the direction that developers are going nowadays, but like in the terms of like Street Fighter, I haven't played the game. I don't know how many characters you get, but like if I'm spending $60 on a game, I want $60 worth of a game. It's like,
Exactly.
what did Street Fighter 4 release with when it came out?
Everything.
It came everything. Yeah, you got everything with it. You got all the characters. You know, do that. Release everything. And if you want to add more content to it later, the first thing I have a problem with is you don't know what that content is.
Yeah.
Like, you go out and you're basically, I mean, I'm about to play devil's advocate here. I just bought the Division online. I changed my pre-order and I got the whole like shebang. I don't know what's coming out, but I'm going to take that risk on it. But this is a fighter. It's like, and you've had previous iterations of this game before, so you know what you should have. You should have the same shit you had last time. But yet, you asked me to pay you $60 for like, what is it, 6 characters, 12 characters?
So I think you get 16.
16, yeah.
16. And I know there's more characters than that, but they're saying, okay, we're going to bring out some more stuff. Tell me what that stuff is before you take my money from me. Because what I don't want to see happen, especially like in terms of Hitman, now, they've not guaranteed what they're releasing, as far as I know, but like, tell me what I'm getting with all this extra money I'm spending later on. If you're going to ask me for $60 and extra money for DLC content and all this extra stuff that's coming with the game, tell me what that is beforehand, so I'll at least know what I'm spending my money on. Because what could happen, not it hasn't happened yet, and God forbid it does, but what could happen is, let's say a company, like, take in mind, like, I know Gigantic doesn't have this structure, but there's already problems with the game right now. I mean, as far as it releasing. So let's say I pre-ordered that game. Let's say I pre-ordered that and all the content that comes with it ahead of time. I can always cancel pre-order. But if that game releases, and I've bought into everything that I think the game's going to come out with right now, and then the game sucks. Let's say Hitman sucks, and they don't have enough money to continue to make all the extra content they're thinking about making. I'm stuck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I paid for this already, and like I've gotten the first download content. The second and third isn't coming. So now we're gonna get in a situation we're gonna be asking for, hey, I want my money back. I want this back. I gave you an extra $40 for this DLC. You only gave me 1. You said you're giving me 3, and I got crap the first time, and now you're telling me I'm not getting the other 2.
Yeah, it's a dangerous situation.
It's definitely dangerous. It's like putting a down payment on a game and it's not done yet.
Yeah,
like, okay.
Too, like, they're not even giving you like the cinematic story mode until June, and the game's out already. Like,
doesn't seem like they was rushed.
They pushed it for Evo. They wanted to. Evo was the biggest reason why they put it out now. They wanted to put it in those professional players' hands, let them get some time with the game, although it was half done. So go, Matt, what's your opinion on the lack of content in the game? You think that's going to continue?
Well, I think it's something that developers can benefit from if it's done right. Like a couple things I wrote down were, like, make sure your content is released on a solid schedule, because I remember Valve went for this with like Half-Life 2, where it was Half-Life 2, and then they were like, okay, like, they obviously knew internally that 3 was going to be like, maybe 1 or 200 years in the future. So they said, we're going to do this episode 1, so that they provided people with more content, and then they did episode 2 with more content, but then it stopped. And so it's like, it's a good idea, but you got to really follow through with it. And that goes hand in hand with making sure that it's priced accordingly. So if you're going to do something like Hitman and promise me new content every month or every other month, I'll give you $20 for episode 1, and then when episode 2 is coming out, if I think that looks like it's worth $20, I'll give you another $20 for it. Or if they wanted to do like $60, standard price for the complete game, which would be, you get obviously whatever's out today, and then as content becomes available, you get it. But I would also want that to kind of be like on a no limit type thing. Like, I'm not talking season pass for DLC. I mean, here's my $60. Now you owe me a full game. But then what Predator was saying, that's an excellent point that that's a dangerous situation where what if episodes 1 and 2 suck and the developer is either, demotivated or like, financially unable to continue production.
Mhm.
And with that, releasing at different times, release dates, a lot of people might not realize that release dates are typically something that's really well planned out. I think we made that point in a past show where back in the Battlefield days of like Bad Company 2, Battlefield used to come out in like March because that's not when the big shooters were coming out, and they didn't want to have to compete with them because they knew if they released what was then a smaller title up next to Call of Duty, no one would buy their game. And if you spread your release out among 6 months or 9 months, you have to compete then, one, with every game that comes out through all that time period, and two, when you're going up against those games, you don't have a full piece. You're saying, oh, hey, you should buy level 4 of Hitman instead of all of, whatever else is coming out at that same time, which I don't care how good your single level of a game is, that's just never going to work. So if you do it right, it can be done right, you can benefit, but for major narrative games, I think they're going to benefit a lot more if you do it all at one point. Because, it's like, that's why people like Netflix TV shows, because they get the whole season right now, and they don't have to wait until next week to get more, and you can't go backwards from that.
Good point. I like that comparison, too, Matt, with the whole Netflix. That's a good point.
So, I do have a question. So, do you think maybe this isn't just with Street Fighter, do you think maybe some of the content could be missing because maybe Sony or Microsoft or someone like that maybe pushes them to release it earlier because they want to have, like Sony, for example, having a Q1 big exclusive like Street Fighter, you think maybe they pushed them like not to delay it or anything like that?
I think when it comes to Street Fighter, I think that was Capcom's decision for Evo because they want that new fighter. They want it out in everybody's hands and up on the big stage and stuff. So as far as that one goes, I think that was just Capcom. I don't think that Sony had anything to do with it.
Well, ultimately Sony bankrolled the game, from what people are saying. Apparently, so I don't know if the final decision maybe it was Capcom, but I know that was a big deal. There was an article about the fact that the game had to be out before Evo, or around the time Evo came out. So I don't know if that was Capcom's decision. It could have, I don't know if they went to Sony and said, hey, we really, really want to get this game out before then. And Sony was like, well, what can you put out now, and what can you do later? You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they gave them an option. So, but the whole. I think there's another thing that we need to backtrack it, when we're talking about things like this. And the other thing is, I'm sorry about that. Get some water here. Sorry, I'm drying up on me, getting that cotton mouth, man. All right. The other thing is, costs, budgets, things like that. When these games are very, very expensive to make, and they're going up each year, but the price of the actual game aren't changing. Games have been $60 for a long time now. But games are becoming more and more expensive to make. So I think you're going to start to see more developers try and do when has this ever happened? Hitman's never been episodic. Final Fantasy's never been episodic. I think they think that okay, what can we do now just to appease our core gamers, and we can give them just enough, and what can we get away with? I think you're going to start to see people try and test the waters more, especially if it becomes successful. Say Hitman or Final Fantasy comes out, sells a ton of copies, you may see some other developers look at that and be like, well,
absolutely,
not a bad strategy. Maybe we should try it too. So cost is a big deal too.
Blam, I also think that they see how some of these other major franchises are milking consumers with DLC and map packs and so we sit here and say, yeah, these games have been $60, but how much extra money they're making on top of that 60 with these little DLC packages and map packs that are coming out for games. If they can release a half-ass game with the same engine and then throw in some DLC, later on, they're probably making more than what we think they are.
Yeah. Here's another comment I wanted to read and then give a rebuttal for. Basement Radio, he says, I really believe. I really believe the consumers across both consoles, if they stood their ground and stopped purchasing DLC, stopped purchasing unfinished and broken games, devs would stop. But here's the problem with that: is we have gaming media that come out and give like Street Fighter with basically no content for the consumers, giving high scores and high praise for these games, and people won't read the whole article and say, hey, look, that got an 8, that got a 9. And, let's go buy that game, and then are ripped off because they weren't told the whole truth, or maybe they didn't read the whole article. There's that argument, but still, I mean, there's that.
That's true. You do have an influence as far as media, journalism, things like that. They all have their major influence. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I hope, like, Predator was saying that it doesn't become a trend, but, you never know. Something, all it takes is really one game to do it and be successful, and then other people will follow suit.
Yeah, well, some companies I see been charging so much money for DLC, like not hating on Destiny or nothing, but I know some friends, who really like it, and I mean, if you bought it day one, it was $60, and then 40 for Taken King, and then 35 for the expansion pass. I mean, you paid for over 2 games in that one game. I mean, that's a lot for one game.
Yeah. I know when I bought the season pass, I thought it came with everything.
Yeah, I did too.
And then you were like, well, you don't get Taken King. I'm like,
yeah.
Well, and season pass prices are going up too. So I think the Division 1 and Fallout 4 season pass are both $40, right?
40, Fallout's 50.
Yeah.
Fallout's 50?
50, yeah, same as Call of Duty.
Wow.
I don't know what happened to buying a game.
But with Fallout 4, though, at least they give you fair warning to buy it at least before March 1st until they raise it.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's true.
That's like a lot of those games, too. If you have people who really trust the developers, like I just bought Gold Edition of Fallout 4 right out of the gates, and same thing with The Division. Like,
Yeah.
See, I also, I know this probably won't ever happen, but I wish, they would give you an option with the Season Pass. Like, for example, I was looking at the Fallout 4 DLC, and I'm really interested in the Far Harbor DLC, which is, the big area one, but I'm not, quite as interested in, the $5, build your own, companion type one to buy. Maybe if for, maybe for $30 on the Fallout Season Pass, you just get story expansions, and then for 50, you get the clothing or whatever. Because a lot of game season passes, they'll have one story pack, and then all the other DLCs, clothes or weapons, or just stuff that you really don't care about.
Yeah.
I just.
And we kind of screwed ourselves as consumers because we've allowed this to happen.
Okay, shout out to Witcher 3 Season Pass, not to be $5, and I played, I 100%ed that game and the DLC, and they've still got Blood and Wine, and they're saying that's as big as Witcher 2.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, CD Projekt, they've set the bar pretty high when it comes to DLC, man. That's gonna be insane. I don't know if we'll see any people doing what they're doing, but that's crazy. They're giving you literally full games every time the DLC comes out.
Their standard edition made you feel like you got a collector's edition. You got a thank you note in there. You got a soundtrack. You got a map of the whole area.
It's really personal.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and move on from that topic. Everybody, looks like the boy Live motherfucking Wire gamer joined us, man.
What up, man?
Yeah, boy, man. I had to come and jump in, man. I got held up. I was out with the fam, doing fam shit, trying to show my mother-in-law how to work Netflix. That's how you got to do.
Hey, I feel you. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go on to this next topic, and this is kind of a touchy one. I think I'm gonna start with Live on this because I think I kind of want to hear him rant. But this
attitude.
Yeah, this is about the gamers attitude, entitled gamers this generation. Almost feeling like these companies and these there's a thin line between being a consumer and being an employee. A lot of people like to straddle the line. Maybe it's some people that we know here on Twitter, because like we said earlier, we're a little bit more in the know than the average person. But you see a lot of gamers nowadays, they take that entitled stance where they feel like, these studios, these games, okay, you owe us this, you have to do this you have to do this, you have to do that, and they feel like if they don't get what they want, they feel like it's a huge disappointment. So I want to go ahead and get your opinion on that. We'll start with Live. If we can keep this within about 5 minutes live.
I'm not gonna go too crazy.
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Like my whole shit with the whole. It's see, man. Like me and my brother, man. We go at it all the time about shit like this. Like you got to realize we grew up in the day where you had Nintendo, Sega, and we were big Sega heads. Big Sega heads. And when they folded, we didn't bitch. We didn't cry. We fucking got a PlayStation. That's what the fuck we did, man. Like that's like if you're a gamer, you game where the games are at. Like you don't complain about every little thing. Like I think with this age, because you can talk to Phil Spencer, doesn't mean he really gives a fuck what you're saying. I'm just being honest. Like I mean, like don't get me wrong. If I have an issue and you have an issue and other people have issues, and then he's like, damn, everybody bringing up the same goddamn issue. You know what? This might be a motherfucking issue. You know, but if I'm talking about, yo, Phil, I got a problem with this, and like maybe like 5 other people or 100 other people, but there's millions of owners, he's gonna be like, man, this bratty motherfucker, man, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, motherfuckers, man. They're trying to make it look bad. That's what the fuck it is. I don't give a fuck where I game as long as I can game. If I can game on my goddamn cell phone, I'll take the option. Because you never know. Sometimes I don't want to put a TV in the bathroom. I just want to shit and then want to play games. You know what I mean? You know, sometimes you get constipated, shit gets real, and you just be like, man, I'm sweating this bullet out. I need something to distract me from this. Emergency data for the division.
All right, cool. So let's go ahead and I don't know how the fuck you gonna follow that up, Mark.
Oh god. Yeah, I think some people are bad to feel like they're entitled. I've actually argued with some people, and some of you guys might disagree with me, but I've been told sometimes I can be a bit entitled with things like, I've complained a few times saying I think the games with gold service, free games, are sometimes kind of lackluster. And everyone always comments, oh, you know, those are free games and you're being entitled. But at the same time, I feel like I pay for Xbox Live Gold. They're not really free games. Like, if I'm on Steam, like, Steam gives free games all the time, but we pay for gold. They're not really free games. Like, what do you guys think
Mark,
of that?
Mark, think about it. Who's pissed off that we still, to this day, haven't gotten fucking Rise Center Room? Like, for real, what the fuck is going on?
Like, I'm on podcast on Locked Group a lot, and like we talked about the games with gold on there, and people are just like, "Where's Rise? Where's Dead Rising 3?" And it's not like Microsoft can't give those out. They own those. I mean, they could give those out if they wanted to, but like they chose to give us Pool Nation, 3 months in a row.
Oh shit!
Hey, they didn't give us Local Cycle.
Yeah.
March's games with gold leaks for Lords of the Fallen and Crimes and Punishment, the Sherlock Holmes. That's a lot better than what they were doing. I mean, they didn't rate the highest. Probably the best games with gold I really liked was Valiant Hearts. That was a really good.
That was a good game.
With gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of my take on it.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and. Matt, what do you think about the entitled gamers, generate this generation? How do you feel about that?
People having bad attitudes. I'm not going to stand for it anymore.
Oh my god.
Put my controller down.
I think I opened the floodgates. Jesus Christ.
Standing up to the bullies.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, and Live, I think you made a great point. Like, if you're about gaming, you're going to game. And if it's like, if something you like changes or is gone or whatever, like, don't just sit down and mope. Like, there's something else out there. Like, that's what's really amazing about gaming today, is that you have all of these games, one, that are available across a multitude of different platforms, and then you've got, if you're just on Xbox, you've got, a wide variety of exclusives, same with PC and same with PS4, that you've got so many games available to you that if there's something that isn't really giving you what you wanted, or if you thought it was going to be great and then like there's this one thing that just really bums you out about it, just let it be. Like, I'm sorry, like, being alive doesn't mean that you are owed like the perfect video game that you want. Like I could sit down and write a thing of a perfect video game that I want, and I'll die of old age and it'll never get made. But you just got to remember that we're here to have fun. You know, we're here to play games with friends, and it's an opportunity to get to meet new people and have experiences and get to interact with developers, which is something that we have better today than we ever have before. Like we made the point that you can send Phil Spencer a message on Xbox, and that guy will read it and probably respond to you. And that's really what I feel like the focus should be on, and how today we have people that will just complain and ruin the experience for other people. You know, that's really what the big problem is. And I saw that a lot in Destiny, where it's like, you know, a few months down the road, it's like, oh, DLC 1 sucked, and it's like, oh, DLC 2 is better, but like blah blah blah, and I want this and I want that. And then when we found out we were having to pay, when we found out like the price for Taken King, it was like, well, I bought the season pass, so I should get this for free and all of this. And it's like, if that's your opinion, and that's fine. And on a level, I agree with you. But it's like when you're playing the game every day and you're wanting to party up with people every time, and that's all you ever want to talk about is how much this game pisses you off, you need to find another game to play. Because if playing games isn't making you happy, you're doing something wrong. And you know, and I want to give a shout out and bring up Mooch again, because I really love his attitude towards Rocket League right now, because he's not really the biggest fan of that game, and he's very open about his feelings, but at the same time, he doesn't put people down for hating Rocket League. He gets why millions of people love this game, and you know why it was so popular and great that it was brought to Xbox. I mean, he's going to be playing that game alongside Major Nelson, but it's like, you know, he's a guy who's able to say, yeah, that game's not really for me. I'm glad other people like it, and now I'm going to go do something else. Yeah. And if everyone could have that attitude and be that way, you know, this would be a much more happy place.
I think with that Mooch shit, a lot of people misconstrued his feelings. His feelings were never that he didn't like the game. He didn't like the way the media was pushing the game, acting like it was the best thing since whatever.
It's getting way more recognition, way more attention than. Yeah, you're right.
That's hard for that. But you know what? It seems like if you try to point out one thing, these guys, they just try to like twist your words and say, "Oh, you must be this way, and that's the only way you could fit." Like, what the fuck? Like, that's not what I said, man.
Yeah. Well, you got to think about it too, guys. Look what we're doing. We're all on the internet, so that's kind of how the internet works. Like, everybody's anonymous for the most part. Anonymous. People say what they want. But I don't know. I just think that you're right about the point that Mooch never, and I want to reiterate that point. He never disliked the game. He just didn't understand why it was getting as much praise that it is. Maybe he does now that he's played it and he's actually enjoying it. So let's not throw people under the bus. Go ahead, Predator.
One sec. I want to add something to what
go ahead, Mark.
You guys said. I agree with him about how the media pushed it, because, like, I don't know if you guys ever played iDarb, but that game was just as good as Rocket League in my opinion, and that game didn't nowhere as much hype.
Did it get the same thing? Yeah.
Yeah, I love iDarb, and they had a really nice dev. I mean, I remember he sent me out a code for that before it even came on the game with gold. Yeah, it was really nice.
Nice. So I don't think we heard from Predator yet. What's your opinion on that, Predator?
I think the only time I've actually ever had a sense of entitlement was when I went out and I bought Day 1 edition of this Xbox One, and he's giving out freaking games like FIFA and Forza 5. I was like, man, I bought this shit. I've had this shit for like 10 years, and like all I get is a fucking sticker in my box. Like, and maybe I'm from the old school, but like, you take care of the people who've been taking care of you over a long amount of time. And I know they came back, and I think they gave something a couple of several months later, like a little like, hey, here's a reward on Xbox Live or something, and that's fine. I mean, they gave you something, so I really can't complain. But in the beginning, I was like, man, I mean, I've been with Xbox for like I've been since the OG days, and I bought a Day 1 console, and I can't even get a free game like everybody else is getting. That's the only time I've ever had a sense of entitlement.
You know what? You know what they should do for like Day 1 buyers and people that buy a console earlier? They should give you kind of like exclusive content. like early access to certain things.
Yeah.
Like say with the beta that we just got. Well, say day one, instead of getting it, what did we get it, like the 18th? Say we get it on the 16th, some shit like that.
Yeah.
And that would give people incentive to be like, yo, shit, I want to go buy a console earlier so that I know that I fall into this year, I'll get to play certain things quicker than other people,
We got an achievement. I mean,
Is it like a 0G achievement?
It's a badge of honor.
On the other token, I mean, I also understand, this is a business, and they're trying to make money, just like every other company is. But you have to take care of the people who've been there with you. If you look on someone's stats, you're like, man, this guy's been a subscriber of Xbox, Xbox Live since 2003. We have to take care of those people. Any other company would do that. Any other normal business would be like, hey, you've been with us for a long time. Here's a bone. Take this for your gratitude and all the stuff you've done throughout your years. And we didn't get that. And I think that's where people get a sense of entitlement. Now, when it comes to other games and other developers and others, talking outside of Xbox in general, yeah, we do get a sense of entitlement because we support Xbox. And we think that we should get something back for that. But as Live just said, they don't know us. We're just a consumer to them. They don't know unless you're like one of the top 5 podcasters or something like that. Like Major Nelson's never written me. Dan Matrix never said anything to me. And no one's ever said anything to me in the past. I'm a fan of a system, and that's it. And that's all I'm ever gonna be to these people until I become something more. Until I start investing money and start paying. Giving Microsoft my money and more time. I'm just a consumer to them. It's like anybody else in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting in that conference room with them, so I'm just an average guy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to say something too about Dead Rising 3. Why is that not in Games with Gold also too?
Because I don't know why.
Because
they're evil.
Are they still selling so many copies of games like Dead Rising 3 or Rise? Are people buying that off the shelf enough that it's like, oh, we're going to lose money if we put this on Games with Gold?
No.
They've got way more to get, you know what I mean? They will gain so much just in terms of recognition, respect for doing that.
One thing I want them to do, which is this adds on Predator's thing, I want them to revamp the Xbox Live rewards system, okay, because I'm mostly a physical, person, which I get that, but I mean, I probably bought $500 or $600 worth of digital games, but I don't get nothing back because the stuff to get points is all pre-order these 5 games all within,
a
30 days
time,
of each other at the same time, or you have to pre-order a certain. Maybe every time maybe they do it every $100 you spend, you get $5 or $10 back in Xbox money if you buy it from the digital store. It doesn't matter what game it is, if it's DLC, season passes. I mean, that'd be nice because I've just ordered so much stuff on there and I don't get nothing.
I stopped using them, Mark. To be honest with you, I go to Best Buy. I mean, I stopped using their reward system because it was broken for so long.
Yeah,
and it's probably still broken.
It makes me sad because every month I get my statement and my email. It's like, you earned 0 points this month.
Yeah, I don't know how that shit works. It'd be like sometimes it says for games, sometimes it's for movies. It'd be like, if you buy this movie, I'm like, I don't want to buy that movie. What the fuck is that shit?
Yeah, the only thing that's really made up for it for me right now is I order all my games on Amazon Prime, so that 20% off kind of helps get me some money back. Yeah. And same if you have Best Buy, Gamer Club or something.
And that's a great segue too, Mark. We're gonna go ahead and get into some questions here in the chat. So if you guys, anybody listening, you got questions, please go ahead and throw them right now in the chat. And that's a great segue into one of the questions. The Big Easy had a question. Shout out Big Easy 77 for joining us here today. He wants to ask the panel. He said, "What things do you think would be nice to add to Xbox Live Gold to improve the value? For example, Amazon Prime just added 20% off pre-order games." So exactly what you were talking about as far as what I'm going to go around the panel and ask everybody, what do you think some things they can add to Xbox Live as a service to maybe add a little bit more value that they haven't as of yet? I'm going to go ahead and start with Marco. Now, you already kind of said what you said, though. About
I mean, I just think maybe also I think that they just need to reward people more. Maybe add, a few little subscription services. I saw someone say, I don't remember who it was, but someone said add like Groove Music, if or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Okay.
Some other Microsoft like proprietary services like that. Maybe bundle them with Xbox Live.
Yeah,
That
just
would be
to
kinda cool.
entice people, to get the service.
Here's
That's
a question, like, I want to go around. Does anybody think there's anything wrong with Xbox Live now that we needed those, I guess, extra features?
I wouldn't say there's anything wrong in particular. But just to, there are things, you look at Xbox Live, it's a fantastic service. It's definitely not perfect. There's some things that they can improve on. And I kind of think that's what we're more talking about. Just like, if there's anything, like if you feel like there's nothing that they need to add, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But if there's anything possible that, maybe that they do have other services that they could use coupled with Xbox Live, or, different little ideas, small things that they can do to maybe just improve on the already great service that they have.
Yeah, like for me, man, if they put it in different packages, like you could have a standard Xbox Live where you might get like whatever AAAs per month, or you could have an ultimate package where you could have like access to Xbox movies and to Groove, and they'll be like, all right, for $100, you for the year you get access to whatever amount of movies, like unlimited music, maybe 2 movies that you could select for the month. Yo, that shit would be dope as hell. I would use it.
Yeah, I would.
$100, I would throw that shit up in the head. Take my money. Fuck that. Like what? I get 2 movies a month and fucking unlimited Groove. Like
maybe a better, maybe they give 1 extra game if you pay the ultimate package and it's like a big AAA game or something.
Or like a discount, 10% off, like EA Access does.
Yeah.
With early access. Yeah, I'll do that shit.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is a good idea. I think maybe what if they did like 20% off ID at Xbox games, like games on the ID at Xbox program or something like that.
Oh, that would be 20% off ID at Xbox games, 10% off of the AAAs.
Yeah,
you'll be more reluctant to get an indie game anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's just good for those like little gem indie games that I really like that get cheap.
I mean, if you look, it's price versus value. If you feel that what you're paying for is worth the price, you're not gonna care. But the fact that's why I say if they add groups, they add movies, and they add those discounts, nobody's gonna complain because you'd be like, yo, I'm getting everything I want. No, that's not true. Some people will complain because
Somebody.
like, hang on, hold up, you giving me all this shit for fucking $100? God damn it! Just can I get all the games? I'll be like, oh, you motherfucker! Like, go back over there.
I think they would have to like increase some of the features they have with Xbox Live now. Like they got to bring back family sharing.
Oh yes, that would be nice.
Yeah.
I would like to be able to actually DVR more than like 5 minutes of video.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
that would be nice. Yeah.
I'm trying to do walkthroughs.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? Family sharing DVR. I had one more and I can't think of it right now off the top of my head. I would even like you guys were saying like exclusive, even if it's a Microsoft exclusive, 10%, 2% off a pre-order. Oh, here's this. Instead of letting you get games on Tuesday, give you early access. I think someone says before on Fridays. I don't understand why games come out on Tuesdays.
Yeah, that is kind of an odd day. That is kind of an odd day for games to come out. It's always been that way. So
drop that shit on Friday at 5 p.m. when I get off of work. I can play all fucking weekend.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah, that's what the service is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what it is? That's all entertainment. Because I remember movies, music, they used to all come out.
It's always on Tuesdays. Yeah. That's when like new DVDs come out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Matt, you got any things you want to add here?
I've never really been that guy who's like, oh, I got this new crazy idea. But I'm very happy to piggyback on what everyone else is saying because you guys all have great ideas. That idea of like if they had some sort of like a premium thing where it's like, oh, like whatever, all like first party games or just like anything that you digitally have pre-ordered, if you could get that, Friday at 5, like, and they could coin launch weekend, and make that the Xbox thing, play this game on Xbox and pre-order, digital pre-order for this much time, because Best Buy with their 20% off and now Amazon Prime with their 20% off, Microsoft really wants people to buy digital games, and right now there's really not enough of a pull to get people really doing that unless you're someone who's playing on a lot of different Xboxes. And they really need more ways, if they want that to succeed, they need more ways to get people excited about digital content because everyone else is doing a great job selling discs.
And the thing about Microsoft is that they have a lot of other things. Like they have their hand in so many different things. They're a huge company that they can really use other services that they have creatively. You know what I'm saying? Like you're talking about
that stuff.
to integrate that stuff. They have a ton of different services. They could do things like release a game on Friday if you pre-order it, or let you play it Friday, through the weekend when everybody else is gonna have to wait till Tuesday. That'd be like huge. I don't know how that would work with like developers and publishers. I don't know if EA or somebody would be happy with that, but I don't think they care because as long as the people bought the game, I don't really think that means not really a difference whether it's Tuesday or Friday. You paid for it, like they're still getting the money. So I don't think it would be that big of a deal, but.
I want to add something. Okay, this isn't really like. Okay, who brought up family sharing? Because I heard someone say
that was
family
Predator.
sharing.
Yeah,
Okay,
Predator.
I would like to see this as an option, which I know maybe a lot of people probably won't agree with me, but I actually kind of like the idea of the. Remember when they used to have you put your disc in once and you never have to put it in again? See, I don't ever sell my games because I like to collect the disc. Like even if they're bad, I don't ever bring them back. To really ever, and I mean, obviously I have internet, and I think most people who game on Xbox do. So I kind of like if they had an option where like you could opt in to have put the disc in once and you have that DRM, and I never have to put the disc in again.
Optional DRM.
Yeah, just
if you sign up for it.
just sign up for it because
That disc would have to self-destruct once you put it in the system.
it auto scratches the disc to where it won't play again.
Yeah.
Now flip your Xbox upside down for 3 seconds.
Then it'll work.
Yeah. All right, great topic, guys. Let's go ahead and find another question here. We got two more.
Another one.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up with these 2 questions. Let's see. Anybody? Let's get some more questions here. Everybody in the chat. I know somebody. I think JB had one. JB Mustang. I'm looking for it here.
What was your first topic while you're looking for that? What was the first topic?
I got it. I got the question. Yeah, just as you asked me that, I got it. I think we've talked about this already though. But he asked, shout out to JB Mustang for coming and checking us out. But he said, what do you guys think Microsoft will announce at the Windows 10 Xbox event? Any big announcements coming on the console side specifically? He said console side. I know we talked about this. Great question, JB. Thanks for the question. I'll probably just throw this to Paul. What do you think, man?
Big announcements? I don't think there's going to be anything big. I think this event is going to be their whole roadmap for PC and Xbox like going forward.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot about Quantum Break. There possibly could be some gameplay of other games coming out later in the year, but are we going to see that? Probably not, because I'll probably save that for E3.
If you watch I was on a Crossfire Mooch's podcast last night, and shout out to Randolph Thor. He did go over the itinerary for the event, and there will be other games being shown.
Right.
There will be gameplay for other games, so.
But they're not streaming anything, so it's.
No, they're not streaming. No, there's nothing we can see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
at the event, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we might get some news here and there, but honestly, I don't think they're gonna have any big announcements with E3. Just a couple months away. I think they're gonna save all that big stuff for that. So.
Yeah. If there's any announcements, they're gonna be like on the technical side.
Yeah, maybe some features.
I thought I'm scrolling back through Twitter right now trying to find it. I thought Xbox Mad had posted something that they might have been talking about keyboard and mouse use on console for single player. There it is right there. Mouse and keyboard support will probably only be available for single player Xbox One games.
Well, you can use the keyboard now.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I'd be mad as hell playing Halo
Playing Halo
with keyboard. I'd be like, you mother cheating ass bitches.
That makes complete sense. I would hate for them to actually allow it in a multiplayer game. That'd be crazy. Like, I think people I'd be pissed off too, especially playing like competitive games, Call of Duty, Halo, stuff like that. It's definitely not the same. So one more question, everybody, and then.
I want to add something to that Windows event. As much as people may think it's just a rumor, I have a feeling like they're going to try to get rid of the announcements that people aren't going to want to hear at E3, such as Gears 4 going to PC. I think Gears of War 4 will get announced for PC. I heard a rumor that Forza Horizon 3 announced for PC also.
Yeah, that makes sense. To
Let me
that
throw this
out
out to you
the
guys.
way, man.
I think they'll at least announce Gears 4 because I think they're going to do it at an event like this that's not live streamed, so that maybe not as much press about it. This is just to get the news out the way, so there's not as much backlash as there was for Quantum Break.
Yeah, I
Because
can't
there
deal
was a
with other
lot
people
of
bitching, you know.
backlash.
Here's a question for you
Backlash.
guys. What do you guys think about games like Xbox exclusives going to PC?
I don't really care.
I don't care.
It's still Xbox
Yeah, so
exclusive.
Xbox.
That's last week. Why are you bringing up bullshit?
Well, I really don't care. I think really the only people who care are the people who want to argue with like fanboys about those lists that how everyone likes to make
I agree.
lists
Yeah.
of exclusives. Like, I mean, I've seen some lists like on both sides, but like I saw one that a Sony dude posted, and it'll have like some Chinese game I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Yakuma 55,000 Ninja Slicer Edition.
You know
Biggest
what? That's
exclusive of the
Oh
year.
yeah, now I'm buying a PlayStation.
like. Do y'all have siblings? Y'all have siblings?
I don't.
Yeah.
But
Oh, okay. I have two younger brothers, right? And that'd be like them. They would always say like, "Oh, my Sega Saturn or my Genesis or Dreamcast," right? Even though it belonged to me, but that'd be like, but they play on it, right? It's the whole houses, but it's like, oh well, that's not really yours. That's such and such. Like,
Yeah.
it belongs to the house. If it's in the house,
It's in
everybody.
the house,
At
everybody.
least that's
right.
how my family did it, man. My mom wasn't hearing that shit. She was like, no. I bought that for everybody. If everybody
I think
can't play
we kind of
it,
need
you
to
can't play
change
it.
I
the
want to.
definition of what an exclusive is. If I can't go to Redbox and pick up a game for both consoles, it's a fucking exclusive.
Yeah,
Pretty
one
much.
thing I want to add to the exclusive thing though, which some people probably don't agree, but like I've seen a lot of media they don't say Windows 10, they say just PC. And what I'd like to do is, I think it's kind of I think they should put Quantum Break on Steam, and the only reason I say that is because a lot of PC gamers are stubborn and they only want it on Steam. I know a lot of PC gamers who only will game on Steam, and if they want Quantum Break to sell at its max potential, they need to put it on Steam. They said they won't, but I mean,
Here's the thing: if you want to play Quantum Break, you need to get on Windows 10 and play it.
yeah, I know, but I'm just like, if they're gonna put it on PC, I thought they might as well just to put it on Steam just to maximize sales, because I want to see the game do well, so we get a sequel.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I hope everybody goes out and I know all of us here are going to buy it. Everybody talking in the panel, but I hope everybody. Well, hopefully, you don't have another Sunset Overdrive type situation. Where we got
Nah, man, that's
great
just
games.
I mean, only on Steam. That's just like literally, you don't even have to leave your fucking house to go buy anything else. You can just download the shit.
Yeah.
Like, this shit is crazy. Like I can't. Nah,
Yeah, I
can't.
don't know. I mean, I don't think they'll ever do anything like that because they're really trying to gain ground in that same market. They don't want to. They don't want to give their games to Steam. But yeah, I understand. I mean, it's not a bad idea, Mark. You know what I'm saying? As far as
I know they won't do it, but I'm just like, I think they'd maximize profits. I just want it. They're gonna go ahead and put like, I heard this on a Crossfire podcast like a few days, I think it was a while ago, but they said they think they're just putting these games on PC to get to the Xbox, 2 or whatever it's called, just to, because I guess maybe they're having a hard time selling as much software because they don't have as big of an install base as PlayStation, so they're putting them all on PC just until they get to their next console.
That's a real thing. I mean, it could be a possibility. We don't know what goes on behind these doors, So
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at it that way, it could be a real thing. They could be up there like, well, game didn't really sell as we projected, so we better try and get some of these other people. Because I mean, when you say you put out I think it was Satya Nadella tweeted that Windows 10 is on over 200 million devices. That's a lot of people. That's not 200 million people, but that's just a lot of fucking people still. Right?
Yeah.
That has Windows 10 available to them. So why not tap into the market? You'd be dumb not to. Like Xbox fans or Xbox base is only what? We're looking at what? I mean, the last
25.
console sold.
Well, okay, Mad Cat said 60 million and PlayStation said 36 million sold, so around 24 or 25 million Xbox Ones.
Yeah, so I mean, and then you have 200 million Windows 10 devices. Why not utilize that other market that you can possibly reach out to? It's kind of
business options. They're trying to give options.
Yeah, I mean, you have some people that are hardcore PC dudes that really go into really upgrading their PC, but most of these people that have PCs, they can't afford to do that shit. So Xbox is just a more realistic option, and And all games for Xbox are fully optimized for the Xbox. That's not said. You can't say the same thing for PC because there's so many different variations that it's just there's no way they can. Like Remedy can never, or any developer can't just be like, oh, I'm a fully optimize this game for your specific PC. Like, no, they can't. He'd be like, oh, hold up, one down. Oh man, now what? 65 million to go, or whatever the fuck. It's just crazy.
Can I ask a question for the panel? If I think of a question,
go ahead.
What do you think? So you know how Phil made that tweet about breaking down walls, breaking down the wall between Xbox and PC. Do you agree? Like I've seen like some people, I'm sure you know who it is, just be like, they need to make Xbox Live free then. They need
Give
to
us free.
see, but like I don't think they will. They make $3 billion off that annually. I don't think they'll make it free, but I think they need to, like we talked about earlier, either add some perks or make it a little bit cheaper. Something, because they're getting it for free,
Well, I mean, when you say when he says something like that, that sounds like businessman talk to me. I could have said the same damn thing. Like he's supposed to say stuff like that. Now, is it true? I think it's true. I think they really are trying to integrate. They really believe. That's why they named it the One. They really believe that all of their particular devices and services are under the same umbrella, and they're all interconnected. We look at them as two different things, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I really think that he meant it literally. I don't know if that means the next system is going to be somehow integrated, tightly, or they'll be all in one, or it could have just meant that, they're moving in that direction and they want to take the steps to break down that wall. You know what I'm saying?
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think it's going to be more of like an Apple thing. Like, remember when Pat Cass used to just buy an iPod? And just be like, oh, I'm cool with the iPod. And you can put that shit on your PC, right? But to really fully benefit from Apple devices, like, all together, they probably have an iPod, they have a laptop, Apple
TV.
laptop, Apple TV, Apple desktop. You know what I mean? Like, it's all connected. So, yeah, even though Xbox, you could say you're breaking down the walls, but I really think it's going from Xbox to PC, not so much PC to Xbox. Because if you're like, oh, I'm only going to game on PC, then you're still have a wall there. But if you're saying I'm going from Xbox to PC, then it's just a fluid integration between the two.
One thing I think that's good about them combining the two is that I think it puts a safety net over Xbox. And what I say by that is like, they're not going to abandon Windows. Windows is huge, on so many PCs. It's like the main, But if Windows and Xbox are one thing, I mean, it kind of guarantees that there will continue to be Xboxes in the future.
That's a good point.
Because Windows is one thing now, and if they throw out Xbox, you're throwing out a huge part of Windows if they're going to put them together.
Let me throw a comment out there to make y'all think. How much is Windows 10?
Free.
Yeah.
Right now it's free.
Yeah.
Like the first year. How much is it going to be once they get rid of this whole free thing?
I have no idea.
Like 120, I'd say.
Yeah,
the other ones are like 20.
I heard like $100. Like,
So in order for you to play games on Windows 10, you have to spend $120 to get Windows 10. Now, everyone's pretty much got it at this point.
Yeah, anyone who wants it, I'd say, is going to get it right now.
Yeah. But like in 2 years down the road, when people have to pay for it, that's going to be the next issue.
Yeah.
That's true. I can see that. happening.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Go ahead. If you had a point, Matt, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think I kind of need to butt in real quick, so I got to head out. I got to get to work here at the half hour. So I'm going to say thank you very much, everybody, for having me on. Another great show. Thank you guys very much. I didn't mention it before, but I wanted to say thank you very much for setting me straight on the Mooch thing, because I did definitely misrepresent him there, and I thank you guys for making sure that story was put straight. You're the man, Mooch. I'm sorry. I'm very happy that got set straight. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you everybody in chat for making it another great show. I'm gonna head out, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
All right, sounds good.
All right, appreciate it. All right, so I think I'm gonna even wrap it up here. I think we've gotten to pretty much the end of the questions. So what I typically do, just want to say I appreciate everybody coming out and showing love to the podcast. I want to appreciate everybody that's come, all my guests on the panel that come and spend an hour and a half, shooting the shit, talking about games. I really appreciate it. Want to give a really, really big shout out to Mark. He's our special guest today. Like a little brother to me, man. Means a lot to have him on the podcast. It's first podcast, so he's kind of we popped this cherry, quote unquote, when it comes to the podcast. But I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys coming out. I'm going to go ahead and go around the panel, let everybody get their plugs in. So we'll go ahead and start with Mark. Where can everybody find you if they want to catch up with you?
You can find me on Twitter at MarcB567, or my gamer tag is MarcCircuit, and for the I in Circuit it's a 1. And just hit me up and I'll play with you guys.
Fantastic. Live.
Yo, it's your boy Live, man. Y'all know who it is. Check my shit out, man. I'll be rocking out probably most Fridays after late. I do the after party usually around like 11.
Oh, that's my shit. Hold on.
Man. Should be crazy, man. We talk about everything, and when I say everything, I mean fucking everything. We talk about everything, not just gaming. We talk about whatever. We just talking about fucking transsexuals. This shit was crazy.
For sure. All right, cool. Predator, go ahead and give yourself a shout out.
Oh man, I don't know if I can follow Live anymore. Oh man, it's been a busy week, man. With Valentine's Day, I haven't done a podcast on the Xbox After Party in about a week since the Black Thursday a couple of weeks ago with the Quantum Break news. But I'll probably drop a podcast here probably Monday. You guys can catch me on Twitter and on Xbox Live, Predator_H20S, and my Twitter is awater76.
For sure. All right, GKB, not to be overdone, my right-hand man here, my new family member. You guys don't know, but I've officially adopted GKB and his entire family.
That's right.
I'm filling out the paperwork as we speak. Go ahead.
I'm waiting to sign it.
Go ahead, brother. Give yourself a shout-out, man.
Hey, what's up? Big shout out to Desert She-Wolf. She's part of Gamers Knows Best. I'm GKB. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, Gamers Knows Best. Love rocking out on the Shop Podcast. Love all these guys. Have a great one.
Yo, I was watching your tutorial, son, man. That shit. Yo, I went back to go play that fucking mission. I was like, these motherfuckers is hard. Like, yo, they were burning the fuck out of me. I was like, God damn.
Gotta hook up with us Live, man. We'll take
you gotta get on with us, man.
Yo, that shit was real as hell. I was like, yo, this game is the fucking truth, yeah.
Oh, Blam, I got one more thing too.
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I finally got the okay for that podcast me and you talked about.
Nice.
So I'll probably do my very first live podcast. I want to invite you guys, GKB and you, to help me out a little bit because I have never done a live before. But gonna do something with some guys from the Ghost Recon Clique here in a couple of weeks. So you guys.
That's Ubisoft, right? The guys from Ubisoft.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. That's big for your first podcast. So everybody heard that live. He has something going on with Ubisoft right now. Ghost Recon is going to be great. So we'll definitely. I'm pretty sure he'll let everybody know when that's happening, when he gets the final okay, the time and day. But like I said, I want to appreciate everybody coming rocking out. You know me, PTK Blam, on Twitter, on Facebook, PTK Blam. Come follow the show here. The podcast will be resuming next week. Probably have another guest on. You guys have a great evening. Anybody got anything else they want to say, or everybody good?
Think I'm good.
All right, good show. If ain't nobody else to say, we out of here, everybody. Y'all have a good one.
Wait, fellow gamers.
Peace. And I'm out this bitch, baby.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a good one. Oh, my God. DJ Khaled. We out of here, everybody.
We're going to do another one next week.
All right, everybody. We out of here, y'all.